Hey, my friends. It's Tuesday tea time with Dorarena, and I want to welcome all our first time viewers and those that will be watching the replay. Welcome. We are presented from Women of Wisdom, which is a nonprofit organization here to empower and to bridge the generational gap between the younger and the older uh, generations, between teen girls and women, and empowering with practical confidence, practical wisdom, and confidence. All right. Okay, so we have got a juicy topic for you tonight. It's almost like touching the elephant in the room. But here we go. Before we get into that, you know what I always like to share with you my tea that I'm doing tonight. And some of you know this one. And so I have one of my favorite cups with me that I got on my birthday. I'm excited about this. So shout out to Alicia for my cup with all the butterflies on it. Is that not neat or what? Oh my goodness, yes. Tea time. Yes, I am doing hot tea today. Turn your air conditioner on and you'll be just fine. Okay, listen. Don't judge me. uh, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. That's our topic tonight. So let's put that up there. Our wisdom topic is don't judge me. Okay, listen. How many of us have said this or have heard somebody else say it? And we say things like this all the time, but what do we mean by that? Do you know what it means to say don't judge me? Well, one thing we definitely should not do is judge people's motives, because we don't even know their motives. We don't even have a right to judge people's motives. And haven't we all done something that was not good or wasn't exactly right? Is there any of us that really are perfect and has never made a mistake in life before? So, we are all trying to figure out our journey, our direction. Some of us are trying to do life right, and some people don't care whether they do life right. But their reason for that, we don't know what that is. And so we can't really judge a person's reasons. Okay, so let's dive into this and look at this a little deeper. I do have a quote for you today. The phrase, don't judge me, can have multiple meanings, such as don't think less of me, don't think I'm a bad person, or don't think you're better than me. Now, no one really has the right to think that they're better than anyone else. And that's one thing that we talk about a lot here at Women of Wisdom, because we are all unique people. And so no one is better than anyone else. We are all unique. We have our own way of thinking. And I was telling one of my mentors, I don't know if you ever heard of the 7 pillars of thought, but in our brain, we have the 7 pillars. And right off the top of my head, I know I'm not going to be able to remember all 7, but one is linguistic, one is kinesthetic, one is visual, spatial, intrapersonal, and interpersonal. And the one, oh, and music. The other one is music. And I think it's language, maybe something like that. But anyway, what happens is what makes us so unique is that when we are thinking, our mind goes through, our thoughts go through all seven pillars and pull out a certain percentage of each one of them that makes up who we are. Okay, so that's why we're all unique, we're all different individuals, and we all make mistakes. Okay, so one way of judging a person, thinking that you're better than them, if you really think about that, that's comparison. And comparison is unwise. We should not be comparing ourselves with one another because there's nothing to compare because we're all different, right? Okay, the other one is, don't think I'm a bad person. Well, we are not to judge a book by its cover, but we do need to know whether or not the person's is a person of integrity. Are they an honest person? Are they somebody that you won't have to worry about going somewhere with and getting into trouble? These things are things that we do need to pay attention to. We do need to judge those things so that we can keep ourselves out of trouble, because you judge the fruit, and whatever is being produced, then that tells you about that person. In other words, if you look at a tree, how are you going to know what type of tree it is? How do you, peach trees, which we used to have one in our backyard, have different leaves than an apple tree. But if you don't know how to judge the leaves or the tree, you won't know what fruit is coming about. And so those things are important because they help keep us out of trouble. Okay, let's look at this slide. To judge means to infer, think, or hold as an opinion, conclude about, or assess, dictionary.com. Okay, so if we are doing these things, to most people that judge someone based off of thinking that they're better than someone else usually have some type of inferior complex, and they're trying to build themselves up by making themselves feel like they're better than the other person. Well, you know what? You without sin cast first stone. That's my saying. And you know what? I felt that way, as a teen mom, because, some people's mistakes go before them and some people's mistakes follow after. In other words, you can see some people's mistakes openly, but some people's mistakes are behind closed doors. And so we all make mistakes, but the ones that we can see, we tend to judge those things incorrectly. That's why it's really better to not judge based off of what you think somebody's motives are, or some reason why they did things, or comparing yourself and thinking that you are better than somebody else. And so we're really getting on some subjects here, and really, if you think about it, judgment and discernment is a part of wisdom. And without walking, without judging certain things and discerning certain things, you're not going to have wisdom. And so you do need to look at the fruit that's that's coming out of people's lives, because that kind of tells you the type of character that they are. But as far as judging people based off of you thinking that you're better than them, that is absolutely wrong. Okay. Here's my own saying: uh, we will know people by the fruit they produce in their lives. So look at the fruit they bear, for we do not have the right to judge people's motives. How about that? That's good for Tuesday tea time, right? Let's take a tea time break. Tea time. Okay, let's look at Cambridge. Now this is wrong. This is wrong, okay? It says, according to Cambridge English Dictionary, judging someone is when you express a negative opinion of their behavior, often because you think you are better than them. Okay, so really that's going back to motives. You think that you're better than them. That's the reason why you are judging them based off of a negative opinion. Okay, so in other words, it's okay if you're not doing it under the guise of thinking that you're better than someone else. Okay, so let's look at the next slide. And this is a quote. It says, "No one is the same, and we all have different life experiences. It's not my place to judge them or for them to judge me. We should all be accountable for our own lives." Okay. So this is talking about, in a negative light, you know, some people just look at you. They judge the book by the cover. They don't even know, anything about you. Or sometimes people go off of what somebody else said. Come on now. We need to know for ourselves. And sometimes being really opinionated, sometimes it's just better to keep your opinions to yourself. And really, until you find out the truth about something for yourself, there's some things you shouldn't even touch on, because later on, when the truth comes out, it makes you look like a fool. And so, really, it's just better not to do that. This is good information. Okay, we are not to judge, like I said, a person's motive, not to compare ourselves or judge a book by its cover. But let's look at this. We are to judge people's fruit, because that helps us determine if the tree is good or bad. Judgment and discernment, I'm repeating it again, just like I said before, it goes with wisdom, will give us the common sense we need to be safe and to walk in wisdom. Well, how about that? So, what do you think about that? Do you think that we shouldn't even judge the people's fruit? And you know, there's a saying that says, if you shouldn't judge if you don't want to be judged. Well, that's still talking about the negative thinking, comparing yourself and thinking that you're better than someone else. No, no, hon. We all make mistakes. We all have our own lives that we have to be responsible for, even our mistakes. But let me say this, when it comes to integrity, when it comes to being honest, you do need to watch and find out whether or not people that you are around have proper integrity, are they honest people, are they fake friends, or are they real friends? And how are you going to know that if you don't judge the fruit that shows us what is what. So I don't know about you, but some people, I said my own self. Now, you know what? If I like a certain type of tea, or I like, doing something, it's not harming anybody else. It's not based on whether me having a good or a bad character. It's just based off of what I like or what I like to wear, what I like to do. Don't judge me. And that's the right way to do things. Really, we just need to be balanced. We need to be balanced. We need to think with a balanced mind and know how to judge things properly, use discernment so that we can walk in wisdom. All right. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Use the proper tools for the proper things the proper way, and you will do life well. All right. How about that for Tuesday tea time? I want to tell you, Dorarena loves you, and I always tell you, walk in wisdom. All right. You have a great night.